again, a Peace Enthusiast, and this is the Untitled Unfinished podcast. I believe this is episode 5? Yeah, let's say 5. And I'm here with my friend Harrison.
Yes, hello.
The dramatic pause.
Yes.
I've known Harrison for almost a year now. I thought it was on here, but it's actually not.
It's like a couple weeks.
What? What?
Feels like a couple weeks. Like that's. I don't know. I have no concept of time. But I'm sorry. Continue your
No, we
introduction.
met during last summer, I thought.
That sounds correct.
Because then I went to Vegas and you sent that meme that was the upside down frowny face thing that I thought was the funniest thing.
Yes.
But yeah, besides the point, I've known Harrison for a while now. And during this, we call it the quarantine time, as most people are probably aware of. If not, you probably should be.
Yeah.
But we wanted to discuss some hobbies we have that you might want to get into during this time, and overall how we escape from this, not pleasant time, I would say. Right? You can call it that.
Yeah, I think so. Finding out how what to get into when we can't get into anything, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that we do, what we do for fun, our hobbies, can be done online now. Sometimes it's even better online. It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Harrison and I met through Magic the Gathering, which is I've been playing for like 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years. Now Harrison's been playing for how long?
Oh boy. On and off since Onslaught, which was 2002.
Wow.
So on and off since 2002. Didn't really get into it until like 2008. Like in 2002, me and my friend Gary met a guy who had Magic cards, and we are like, "Oh shit!" Like we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and then we saw Magic cards, and we are like, "Okay, these are much cooler." And like we just kind of had cards and collected them, but we didn't really play until around 2008 when we started to actually play the game.
Yeah. And you played what format when you first started?
When I first started actually playing, it was the original Zendikar standard is what I played.
Okay.
I played Mono Black Vampires, and I won FNM for like, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months straight.
What was Gary playing?
Gary, well, see, Gary, in his true Gary fashion, always put together, like right before we'd go up to the shop to play FNM, he would go through his this box of cards that we shared, and he would just put a deck together.
So the same Gary we know now is the same Gary from 2008.
Yes, the same.
Okay.
One Gary. Yeah, no, I've known Gary's for. We should have had him on here too. That would have been funny.
No.
But no, I've known him for probably over 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about Gary, you guys, no one here knows Gary except for us, but Gary changes things every time I see him. He's playing a different deck. I guess he's always done that, according to you.
Yes, and it's interesting because he actually did very well. Like back in when we played together, like I would bring the structured vampire deck that was one of the meta decks at the time, and then he would bring a box of commons and uncommons and the occasional rare card.
No myths allowed.
Yeah, up to the shop and just fucking he would do well. He'd do very well. I had some spicy tech in my my vampire deck though. I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was back when Spreading Seas was in standard. It's the one that it's an enchantment that turns a land into an island. And I'm playing mono black, so you can see that be a problem. So I would put negates in my sideboard. Nobody would expect it because like they would give me islands and I would use them to counter their spells, and it was probably
I would say because I've been playing Magic, like I said, for about almost 3 years now. Our mutual friend Keontae got me into it, and because he stopped. We used to play. Keontae and I met through Yu-Gi-Oh when I moved to Maryland, and I would go to Squabbles, is what it was called, and we would play, and that's how I met him at a regional or something, and we've been friends ever since. And then he stopped playing to focus on Magic, because he had played Magic on the side with his friends. He played Commander, and then I guess I kind of just fell into it, and then I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh and switched to Magic. Just with the thing about
It's better.
I don't know if it's just different. Like it's a different
Yeah, it's different.
environment. The thing with Magic, and I'll get into this in a bit, but there's a whole. For those who don't know about card games as much as we do, there's a whole economy in these games. Uh, I mean, we could say Gary is a, for example, Gary is a budget player, right? For the most part.
Sometimes, I mean, honestly, it depends. Like sometimes he'll show up with a deck that's, super expensive, and then
It just
sometimes
depends on
he'll
the
trade
week.
it all in,
It just
and
depends
he'll
on the
lose
week.
it. He'll lose 80% of the value trading it in for a deck that isn't expensive. But
Yeah.
see, Gary plays decks that he likes to have fun with, and I think that's awesome. Like he enjoys the deck building process. As much or maybe even a little more than actually playing the game or playing to win at least, he just likes making decks and coming up with cool brews.
One could say they're cool.
I think they're pretty cool most of the time.
But I mean, I guess in comparison to Keontae, Gary would be a budget player for the sake of argument, right?
Well, I think we'd all be well, maybe not you, but I'd be a budget player and
Yeah. I'm just trying to give an example to people who
compared
don't.
to Keontae.
Yeah, our friend Keontae tends to play more expensive cards,
Yeah.
and just how it is. I'm kind of up there with him to some degree. I mean, I've been playing for a few years, so I've had time to, buy things, upgrade things, pimp things out in the sense of rarity. But card games have their own economy, and they're
Yeah.
dictated by events and typical popularity of cards. And
Yeah.
how do I phrase this? I guess it's interesting that we now live in a time where you can do all this stuff online. Like we mentioned it before in our group chat. Was cockatrice? How you say it?
Cockatrice,
Yeah,
yeah.
cockatrice. It's pretty much a Magic the Gathering simulator. You can make any deck you want, and you don't have to pay for anything. It's just everything's free.
Yeah,
So you
the
could,
ethics of it are up in the air, obviously, but
yeah, but I mean you're not playing for, yeah. I
no,
prefer paper over online any day.
yeah, no, me too, totally.
But
But but yeah, like it's interesting to see all of this stuff, like you said, move to digital formats, especially the push for like Magic Arena relatively recently, just completely bringing standard, the premier format of Magic, which is like the format where you use all the newest cards, and it's practically all online now. Any major event is pretty much moving online. I don't know if there's many paper. I mean, I'm not in the scene or anything, but I don't know how many more paper events exist in standard.
yeah, and that's just the thing with this quarantine. I think it's really interesting that you can do everything online now with these games. Uh,
Yep.
we'll get into some other examples later, but like I said, Magic is probably the one we have the most in common. And we could play Arena, which is a Magic game online. We could play Commander online. We could play anything you want, as long as we have the creativity and the technology to do so.
Yep.
We can recreate any deck we have just with a simulator. And
Yeah.
since these are times that it's probably better to stay indoors, this is why we recommend looking for Magic to take your mind off some things. It's fun. You can play with friends, play by yourself. If you just want to learn and play, test things out by yourself, you can. I mean, in Magic we have things called test hands, which every card game has. But test hands are just a way to test your deck without any real problems. Like there's not going to be any responses from other players. There's not going to be random situations that happen, when you have other people in the midst. But it's
No
really
interaction. You just kind of draw cards and see what see how your own cards play well with each other rather than with other people, which is just as important, knowing what your cards do.
Oh yeah. Usually when I have free time, which sometimes I do, I would just do. I put on a podcast in the background or listen to some music and just do test hands for like an hour or so, or even not longer. Because it really never gets old, especially if you're playing. We play Commander, which for those of you who don't know is a 100 card format. Everything is a one of, except for lands. So we everything's very different in Commander because you limit. Like I said, you limit it to 1 card per name, or one name per card. So it's really interesting to see what you can make out of 100 cards with your commander's colors.
Yeah,
And
and some people like to build 100 cards, put them together to kind of work like a finely tuned machine to accomplish a thing, and then some people just put all their favorite cards in a pile and call it their commander deck, and that's fine too.
yeah,
I mean, it's not fine, but
no, I know what you mean.
as long as you're playing with people who also are playing like that, I guess it's fine.
Yeah. Plus, there's multi ways to play commander. There is casual, which we all play casual and competitive in our little group that we have of us 4. And I would say I'm fine with either one really, casual or competitive. I mean, obviously they both have their pros and cons. A game of casual with you, Gary, Keontae, and I would probably take maybe like an hour or more, whereas a competitive game, 15 to 20 minutes sometimes, if not less.
Right.
And so, depending on what you want to play, how you want to win, it's all really up to your customization and creativity.
Yeah.
So we recommend, playing Magic online, and when this whole thing is over, go to a local card shop, buy some cards, meet some friends. Like I've said this in the last episode, but most of my friends that I have now, I've met through card games. I mean, obviously you, Gary, Keontae, all through card games. Our friend Cody, met him through Yu-Gi-Oh. So it's really interesting to see how you meet people in different ways and don't even realize it. Like I would say 80% of my friends I've met through some form of card game, whether it's a friend of a friend or an opponent of mine. Because I used to go to events for Yu-Gi-Oh, and if I had a really cool opponent, I just asked them for their Facebook. Like this guy seems like that person seems cool. Might want to see him again,
Yeah.
And so I wanted that's your opponent because you wouldn't think, but a lot of the card games are really cool about things like that. The people, I think, are the best part of playing a card game, no matter what.
Yeah, no, for sure. The social aspect of these games, and just going to a shop, and not even just Magic or card games, but any of these games in general, the social aspect of it is definitely one of the best parts, and that's why it's interesting to see now, even though the whole situation is still pretty young, like just to see how the environment of these social games is kind of warped by a few months of us of not having access to those places where the socialization happens.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic because I'm someone who would call themselves, I guess, more of an introvert than an extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk to people unless I have to. I kind of
I just have to counter their spells and explain to them how explaining them why you play 5-color Kenriths.
I mean, outside of Magic, I don't talk to people.
Really.
Yeah,
no, I
know.
know.
I keep to myself. I have my friends, and those are my friends, and I don't actively try to add more. I mean, if I meet friends, that's one thing, but I'm not like actively searching. Like, hey, be my friend.
There's like a kind of a bell curve that happens once you reach a certain age. Like you start trying to shed friends instead of gain more.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends, I would say. I have a good amount that I've known for a while. And one of the reasons why I made this podcast is to connect with some friends of mine that I don't always have the chance to talk to. Cause,
for sure.
I
have a better time than any because you're not going to be seeing any of them now, probably.
Like, I used to see you once a week.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen you in, 2 weeks now? Almost?
Maybe a little more than that. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. Time is kind of starting to become a foreign concept.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one.
I've been working from home for so long and just new job and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's a lot going on. But yeah, probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like it's, I have my day. We have our day that we go to the shop and we meet everybody else, and I haven't done it in a while, and it's just weird. I guess because it's like a scheduled thing we have.
Yeah,
That's our
definitely.
meeting day
We have
at
all
our
of
card
these
shop.
cards sitting around not being not being played now. Like, well, shit,
Yeah.
just finished that new Crocs deck that I can't use.
But yeah, but the thing about Magic especially is that it's just a fun thing to do when you have time. And
Yeah.
part of the problem is balancing your time with any hobby. I've caught myself in school looking at, EDH rec, for example. I've I've spent some time that I shouldn't have talking in group chats with you guys about cool card concepts or stuff like, or new cards or wheats, whatever. I've spent money I shouldn't have spent on cards. Like it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of do's and don'ts when you get down to it, but at the end of the day, it's all fun.
Yeah,
And
and I mean, and then it's having a way to. I mean, everybody has their thing that they do to just kind of hang out, and unfortunately, ours is expensive.
it can be, like, it doesn't have to be though.
Yeah,
It
that's a
just
good
depends on
thing.
how you want to play the game and how
Yeah,
serious you are about it.
and that's a good thing about Magic and most card games. Really, is that you kind of choose how much money and how much time you want to put into it, and then you're not bound by anything. You
Yeah,
just do what you can do or do what you want to do.
yeah. We used to our shop used to have tournaments on the weekends. I don't think you ever went to those, but
No.
they would fit you into your group, kind of based on what you were trying to play. If you were more competitive, they would try to put you into a more competitive scene of group. And sometimes people are playing like random stuff that they know they won't win, but they just want to have fun, and they try to
Yeah.
accommodate for that too. There's in Commander, you play what you want to play. There's no meta really. There is a meta, but the meta doesn't really mean anything if you're
No,
just
no.
playing with people you know.
It's the board game format. Is how it's referred to sometimes. The board game format where you just kind of sit down with some friends and just it's the format where you just do all the crazy shit and just try to have fun with playing the game. I mean, that's any format, I guess, but Commander probably the most.
Well, I would say that's not necessarily true because there are formats that are purely competitive. There is no fun allowed to be have. It's just like I win, handshake, be on my way.
Yeah, that's fair.
In Commander, you're gonna be with this person for for a while. Sometimes,
Yeah,
like
you
you might be with,
shuffle up and it's a commitment.
yeah, like there's some people we play with at the shop, and one of our friends isn't there, and they just fill their spot for that day.
Yeah,
And people you may not ever talk to again, people we see all the time, and it's just like that was my opponent once. They seem like a cool person. Maybe I'll invite him back. Like that medieval times. I don't know his name. The guy who works at medieval times.
it starts with a J. It doesn't matter, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Uh, sometimes we see him, sometimes we don't. And whenever he's around, he usually asks to play, and we have no problem with him.
right.
I mean, the only problem we had if all of us are there, but even then, like we make accommodations as if we can. But it's just
Yeah,
cool to meet people. It's like for someone who doesn't like meeting people like myself, I enjoy meeting people in that way.
yeah. I mean, any meeting people over interests that you share with that person is the ideal way. I'd say to meet somebody.
Yeah, because it's school. That if you're in school and you meet somebody, your interest is what, that class maybe most of the time, and it's
Maybe.
like,
I mean,
hey, do you have that homework assignment? Like that's as far
right.
as it goes. For sometimes, I mean,
You're
but
kind of brought together by something you have to do rather than
yeah,
something that you want to do
now
or like to do.
yeah, now it's like, oh, let me put you in this group chat. Let me get your Facebook information. Next time if
Yeah.
ask people for like you've, I don't know if you're the same. I think you're the same way as me on this, but I don't really care too much about giving stuff away at this point. Like
Giving
like
like
cards and stuff. Like
oh
If
Yeah,
someone
I mean,
if someone needs it that I'm friends with, you can have it.
yeah, I was like that, but then I got rid of my collection, and now I don't really have many cards to give away. But I don't know. I'll get there again one day.
Like I give you stuff whenever you need it, and
Yeah,
Keontae would do the same thing for me. So
yeah,
it's really it's just a friendly time.
yeah. I mean, if you got cards that are just sitting around that you're not using, and somebody that you know wants to use them, then why not?
Yeah, exactly. And there's really no nothing bad about playing with friends, really. I mean, of course, you're gonna have those games where you're gonna hate the person, and you're gonna be like, "Why are you
Yeah.
doing this?" You're
No,
gonna be
and
like,
that's just friendly competition. It's
but they
pretty
make for good
natural.
stories. I will say, the thing I
Oh, for
like the
sure.
most about this game, I will say this, is either during the game when the funny stuff is happening, or the next day or week later when we're talking about the stuff that happened to someone else. The
Yeah,
some stuff is just so unbelievable, or just
some
so
of the
funny.
some of the stuff that happens in Commander, especially some of the plays that happen are just like I I I'll tell you quickly about this. My favorite time that I lost the game. Um, I was playing a Tadiova deck, and there's going to be a lot of lingo in this part for people who don't know what we're talking about. But I was playing Tadiova, and I used a pact of negation. No, pact of summoning. The one where you got to tap out
And you
on your
put a
next
creature on your
turn.
deck in your hand.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and then if you don't tap the mana the next turn, then you lose the game.
right.
Well, it made its way to another guy at the table, and he used a card. I want to call it. I think it's knowledge expropriation, but basically it lets him go through my deck and find a card that he gets to use now.
Oh, kind of
And
like the one I play.
yeah, kind of like Praetor's Grass.
Yeah.
And he took Sunder, which returns all lands to everybody's hand. And I had a summon pack trigger on the stack and no
Oh
lands anymore.
no.
And it was hilarious. Like it was the perfect way. That's to talk about it.
Yeah. We have our memories that would be way too long to share all of our memories and funny moments. But yeah, it's really just a good time overall. And if
Yeah,
you can recreate that, with Discord and Arena or Cockatrice, we recommend it. I would say, just because it's way to hang out with friends when you can't hang out with friends, and keep the spirit of friendly gameplay going. All right. We were talking about Magic for a while now, I would say, and Harrison has a hobby that I wanted to play, but I think during this whole situation we haven't been able to play it yet, because we had some problems
yeah.
beforehand, and that would be D&D, Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
And it's probably popular now more than it has been in recent years as a Stranger Things, I would say. Ironically enough.
Well, Stranger Things, and also there's a very popular Twitch stream called Critical Role that kind of catapulted D&D back into main mainstream. Well, mainstream is obviously not the right word to use, but it's
More
much more
relevance.
popular. Yeah, more relevance. Thank you. It's much more popular than it's actually ever been,
Oh,
which
really?
is kind of crazy. Yeah, for a game, like early '80s, I think D&D was a thing.
Yeah, around then.
Um, could have been before that. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's Dungeons and Dragons Fifth Edition is what is all the hot D&D right now.
Yeah, my only experience with it, besides talking to you about it, is I don't know if you're familiar with Rooster Teeth, the company.
Yeah.
Uh, have you? I don't. They actually have Dungeons and Dragons series. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
Um, which one do they run?
I think it's Twits and Crits. That might be
Okay,
it.
no, I'm not. I don't know that one.
They have an Achievement Hunter based one, and they have a Funhouse one, and they're both the channels I really like to watch. And they both had multi D&D campaigns on YouTube that they would just sit down for a few hours, record, and put one out like once a week or so, or however
Yeah.
many days it's stretched. And so you have what I think was cool about that is you have the people you like to watch on YouTube, their personalities, and then you have the game, and then you have their creativity in that game. So
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it is that it's you're playing in a fantasy world, obviously, but it's just another instance of just coming together with people that you enjoy for a thing that you enjoy and just having a good time. Um, it's probably the hobby that I'm most invested in right now.
oh really?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. I'm running two campaigns and I'm playing in three campaigns, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that really confusing for you?
Sometimes. I mean, not like the three that I'm playing in are run by different people. They're three totally different games. Similar groups, like all of us just kind of play like our little group of D&D friends, or not just D&D friends, but by our friends. We all play in each other's games because it's good to take a break from one game, and somebody else wants a chance to be creative and create a story for us to play in, and then we just kind of do a rotation.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm running one. We play online completely, so that's another instance
So all
of
five are online.
all are online. There's these virtual tabletop programs. The one that we use is called Roll20, and you basically it gives you like a place to upload documents, pictures, game maps. Everybody logs into the website, and like you can control your tokens, and it's practically it's a virtual tabletop, like exactly what it how it sounds, and it works super effectively. We communicate over Discord, and then play the game on Roll20.
That's pretty. I knew you were playing online, and all five were online.
Mm-hmm.
Because the
Yeah,
one we
I
were
had
gonna,
a,
huh?
yeah. Well, we were going to have a game here, and it just kept getting pushed back.
Oh,
It's
our
hard to
game.
have, yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to have in-person games for D&D because it's such a commitment for a hobby. Like generally, when I did have a game at my house, we played every other week. It was every other Saturday from 5 to 9 was our schedule, and like all of us were, in our late 20s, early 30s. Most of us had kids, and it was hard to keep that schedule. I mean, that's half of a weekend for people who work full time.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment. So the games they have a tendency to fall apart, and that's fine. Mostly it's just about getting together for those couple hours a week and just rolling some dice with some friends and having fun. And being able to do that online definitely cuts down the scheduling issues because you just hop on your computer, and most of us are on our computer all night anyway. So we're like, okay, we might as well play D&D while we're sitting here.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something that you guys can do during the quarantine too.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean, it's probably easier now than it is probably ever for this past week or
yeah.
so.
No, definitely. I mentioned I run two different games, and what that means is that I create the content for the players to interact with, basically. Um, I've got on my shelf behind me, I have 17 D&D manuals.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that I pull content from and add to or complement and supplement from. Um, but yeah, it's a good time. It's not for everybody. It's probably like the nerdiest of the nerd hobbies. But it's not for everybody. But I would, if anybody was thinking about maybe getting into D&D, I would definitely give it a chance.
And you can
Um,
do all this stuff on. You can find some manuals online too, right?
yeah. There's some websites out there where you can find the PDFs of all of the modules for free.
Just some
Um,
places may not be open to sell them at the moment right now.
Right, and Amazon. Usually the books are $50 a piece. Walking into your local game store, Amazon usually sells them for about $30.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Nice.
so if you want to get them off of Amazon, you can save, a good chunk, save almost half. If not, support your local game store.
Always.
Um, yeah, spend the extra $20 now more than ever.
Well, probably when this thing is over, yeah. 'Cause most of them are closed right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I got a brand new book came out on Tuesday of last week that I was able to pick up before all the stuff went down.
And this is considered just a straight role playing game, right?
Oh yeah, it's tabletop role playing game. So basically, the player characters, they go through all of these different player. It's called the player's handbook, but there's also a lot of other material that you can pull content from to kind of build your character that you want from scratch. So like you pick the race of the character that you want to be. You pick the type of character you want to be. Like if you want to be a guy that has magic and shoots fireballs, and you can do that. Or if you just want to be a guy that swings a sword or an axe, you can do that too.
Yeah.
And you build the character from scratch. And then the dungeon master kind of places all of the characters in the world, and it's the role of the dungeon master to um, kind of be the referee, the guide to the story that's being told, and then it's the role of the players to just experience the content and interact with it, and engage with the scenarios that are laid out by the dungeon master.
It definitely sounds cool. Since I've never played it, I mean, I understand the basics from what I've seen
Mhm.
online, but I haven't not played it yet because we were going to, but we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Uh, I definitely think it's better with the right people, from what
Oh,
I can assume.
100%. One of the reasons for that is because it gets a little silly at times. I like to do a lot of different voices and stuff for all the characters
Really?
that are in the game. Yeah, so as a dungeon master, I play all of like the NPCs and non-player characters.
I can't imagine you doing the voices right
Yeah.
now.
And it's a lot of fun, like, oh, I have a little crotchety guy that sounds like this, and
He's Australian? What is he?
yeah, he runs the general store, and he doesn't like when people come and steal from him. But I have all these different voices, and it just makes it fun for people.
It's really
Um,
involved with the
it
voices.
is, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I take it as much as it's like a fun hobby for me. I take it seriously. I really love the game. I like I love that it lets me kind of share my creativity with my closest friends. Um, I value the role of an entertainer a lot, and I don't have any artistic talent, so it's important for me to be good at being a dungeon master. You know what I mean?
That's, that's what it's come
That's my
to.
outlet. That is my outlet.
When the world ends, we'll need you as the entertainment.
Yeah, don't worry. As the world comes to an end, we will play Dungeons and Dragons to forget about our
Maybe your
worries.
ancestors were a jester, perhaps, in the medieval times.
Perhaps, yeah.
It runs in the
Um,
family.
it does. That may be the case. I couldn't argue it.
Yeah,
But no, it's great.
I used to be big into role playing myself. Not in person, but online. I don't know if you're familiar with Second Life, the game.
I know of it.
It came out many, many years ago, and I played it
Yeah.
a long time ago. And that game was really cool for the time because you could people made everything in that game. There was virtual art shops. There was I had Iron Man armor with Spawn's cape,
Yeah, that's what you want, right?
and I was a vampire.
Top tier. Yeah, so you were Spawn Blade Iron Man.
Yeah, dude. I
Hey,
uh
what more could you ask for?
I was in a vampire guild. I had a cool motorcycle, like a Tron. It was almost a Tron bike, I think. We're going back almost 10 years, but like,
Yeah, Second Life is that's one of the OGs.
yeah, and it was cool to just be able. I mean, obviously, I don't play it now because I haven't played it in many years. But at that time, when I was that young, it was cool to just do whatever I wanted in a virtual environment. You
Yep.
know, like you have like some people had virtual girlfriends and stuff like that. I don't. Well, that wasn't really my thing, but like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some people out there, that's their thing. And some people meet their
yeah,
lives
yeah.
mostly on these games. Um, but no, I started like my interest in this kind of like games and cards and that kind of thing. My interest with it began with RuneScape,
Hmm.
online game RuneScape. You're
I
familiar with
played
it?
it like once. I never really got
Yeah.
into it, but it is there is a dedicated fan base there.
Oh yeah, it's an old game that was shut down and then rebooted, and now it's more popular than ever. But back then, we didn't have computers in our house, so Gary and I would go to the library and we would play. We would sign up on the library computers and
yeah,
play for 30 minutes at a time. Because the library kicks you off after half an hour.
yeah.
Um, so we would play for 30 minutes and then we would get kicked off and then run back and put our login back in and wait for our turn and play for 30 minutes. And we would spend all of our time at the library playing RuneScape. And then my mom bought a computer for the house and Gary was over all the time and we would just take turns playing at the house, and. And then that turned into other games. I dabbled in like every online game probably that there was at least once.
Yeah, I tried World of Warcraft once. I took
Hmm.
2 steps and my computer crashed. it was
Yeah,
this was many
that's
years ago. The computer wasn't built for it. But I can't say I have stepped into the World of Warcraft for 2 steps.
yeah, and I've played that on and off for probably 12 years. I haven't played it in probably about a year now, but I've played World of Warcraft on and off forever. Well, not forever, but since like 2008
That
or
game has been
so.
around for the longest time too.
Yeah, it's the biggest. It's like the juggernaut of online games. It's the one that everybody wants to be and beats. And
Yeah. I played IMVU for a period of time. I don't know if you know what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
Imagine Second Life, but more for, I guess, teenagers, probably, is where the demographic would be. Uh, it was kind of the same game, but just scaled down for easier to play people.
Yeah,
But there was a lot of role playing involved if you wanted to, because people would make maps. You can just go through the map and just like I'm not gonna lie, I had an aircraft carrier house. I had an aircraft carrier ship.
I mean, what more could you ask for, though, right?
Huh?
What more could you ask for
Yeah,
than
and I had a
aircraft
house
carriers?
on it.
Yeah,
Oh, that was the coolest thing. I had a Naruto costume, dude, and it was I don't know. It was I didn't know how to roleplay at the time. Like I still don't, but at that
it's not
time,
easy.
it's
I mean,
not. It's
it's hard
not.
to. The main thing, the hardest thing about it is being comfortable doing it in the first place. Like once you kind of overcome the like, oh, this is weird and cringy aspect of it, and realize that that's why you play these games, then it gets much easier, and it really gives you an opportunity to put your creativity out there. And again, that's why I love D&D so much, is because like I love being a player in all the games too, but I love making all these little characters for my friends to interact with, and then like we're all just sitting at a table, just telling jokes outside of the game, and in the game we're like fighting monsters
Yeah,
as you know what I mean. It's a lot of fun.
and I think that's probably the natural progression that would be of my role playing interests. So, like I said, this
Yeah.
is like outside of IMVU, I played robots, right? I played robots too. I played called Penguin.
Mhm.
I played both of those, and I was probably a little too older for robots. But I mean, what else am I gonna play for free on a computer? I didn't have any game consoles or anything,
Yeah.
so like a free game that you can build whatever you want, sure. And
Right.
I would role play all the time in that game. There was one I don't know if you know how robots works necessarily, but it's kind of like you just pick a. It's a robots is a game itself, and then in the robots is all these levels you can play that people
Mhm.
make. And there was this one space level. I don't remember what it was called or anything. But it was like space politics. I play that game all the time make your own stuff, have your own like little, like board of people to talk to, like your whole like political board and all that.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that in many years. Probably because I'm also not comfortable doing it anymore.
Yeah.
It's now I'm like older and kind of weird at that point.
I
Like,
no, I get that. I mean, I started playing this current edition of D&D a few years ago, and then we stopped for a while because again, scheduling conflicts and everything. And then I pulled together some of my friends online who I played other games with, and I was like, and none of them. There was only one of them who played D&D before, and it was four of them and me, so five was total. One of them played before, three of them didn't, and it's a blast. We play at least 2 to 3 times a week, probably for the last 2.5 years now.
oh really?
Yeah. Once you play it and you like it, like there's no other game or there's no other hobby that will scratch the itch. I guarantee you. If you try it and you like it, then that's all you're gonna want to do is play D&D.
Well, hopefully soon we can try it. I'm always
Yeah, we can try it, and if not, then I can get you into one of our online games. I mean, we play over Discord. Anybody can. Roll20 is free. There's no buy-in whatsoever to trying it out or to even playing. If you decide you like it, there's no buy-in at all to continuing. So, what we do sometimes is like if somebody can't show up to one of the sessions, because it's a every session it's like an ongoing story, right?
right. It's an adventure.
Yeah, so if somebody doesn't show up, then sometimes we'll put off that session and do something else because we don't want to leave them out of the story.
Yeah, it would have made sense, anyways.
Right, right. So what we'll do is it's called a one shot, which is just a short 4 hour quick adventure that you make new characters for, and the from beginning to end, it's supposed to last the length of one session.
Huh.
So to introduce people to the game, we run one shots just to get their feet wet and see if they like it, and then if they do, then we'll find a way to work them into the other campaigns, like the bigger campaigns.
Right.
So next time we have one of these one shots, I'll let you know, and we can spend some time getting you a character together and see if you like it.
That sounds interesting, actually. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess my biggest concern is now that I'm older and I don't know if I'm still, because when I used to role play online in games, it was like the most unfair role playing it could be. Like,
yeah.
we'd have like battles, and someone would be like, "Oh, I shot at you." I'd be like, "You missed." That was
Well,
fun.
that's the good thing about D&D is that there are rules.
Yeah.
Right?
So like, where I'm coming from is very just like, I hit you, didn't
Yeah.
die. Damn,
Yeah.
I didn't kill. Like,
D&D has very strict rules when it comes to how that stuff works. Now, the role play stuff and basically, like, in the simplest form, is the players tell the DM what they want to do, and then the DM kind of curates how it is to be done. You know what I mean? Like, let's say
Yeah.
one of the characters wants to jump from a tree to on top of a roof. I'll make them roll some dice to see if they make it up there or fall down, and we go from there. But there are rules that prevent you from just saying, "I kill you." You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the other thing that's important for new players that it kind of takes a little bit of time for them to grasp is that, like, the game is completely collaborative. Like, you're not against, like, you're not playing against the other people in the group. You're not playing against the dungeon master. All of you are just have different roles in the same story, kind of. So it's kind of a habit that new players have that you have to break, is like the us versus the DM mentality, or the my character versus the rest of the characters mentality, because it's a 100% collaborative game.
yeah.
And that's where a lot of the best moments of the game come from.
I guess, like I said, since I've never played it and only seen it, my interpretation of the game, I would say, is similar to a video game such as Gauntlet or Baldur's Gate or
Yep.
I think it was Champions of something Norath, or I believe it's called.
Yeah, so
or-
Champions of Norath and Baldur's Gate are actually made by the people who make Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Yeah,
I should've
it's
known
set in the Yeah, it's set in the Dungeons and Dragons universe,
I
and it's
shit.
actually it's
I never knew. Like I've played all of those, and I never knew that.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, Magic is made by Wizards makes D&D.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Wizards makes Dungeons and Dragons. So they're the company who creates Magic the Gathering, and it's interesting uh, because they own both IPs. The Dungeons and Dragons crew actually has a lot of Magic the Gathering content that they turned into D&D content.
I had no. I'm not making this up. I did not know that at all.
Yeah, that's funny.
Just it seems so
Yeah,
similar. I just didn't piece it
yeah.
together.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast made Dungeons and Dragons. They have a campaign book called what is it? Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and it's a D&D book that tells you how to build adventures in the Ravnica setting. Ravnica is like a giant city in the Magic universe.
Yeah.
Um, there's also a D&D um, supplement that tells you how to run a game on Ixalan, tells you how to run a game in Innistrad. Um, so they do crossovers fairly often, which is pretty neat.
I had no idea. I mean, that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
I've been playing Baldur's Gate for. I used to play it a long time when I was on the PS2, and my dad was huge into it. We even we used to try to almost glitch, or I don't know if it was a glitch or just a mining, but we would abuse the shopkeeper and just kept selling him stuff that he just bought from us for more money or whatever.
Nice.
And
God, dude.
we'd make
Hey,
like
man. It's business.
yeah, we'd make
It's business.
like 30 extra gold and be like, I guess we just keep doing it.
Yeah.
We
Infinite money. It's like when
yeah.
you steal the shovel from the guy in Legend of Zelda.
I never did that. Which Zelda?
Um, Link's Awakening?
I haven't played that one.
That's the one that they just remastered for the Switch.
Oh, I have it. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, yeah. If you stand in a certain spot, like you can take an item from the shop in like the main little village.
Yeah.
And if you stand in a certain corner of the shop and wait till the shopkeeper turns at a certain time, then you can just run out of the place with the item. If you go back in there, he kills you, unfortunately. But
I was so aggressive.
yeah, yeah. No, dude, he's not playing about his shovel.
It's a scarce resource.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad and I used to play, and my dad got into Diablo last year, and we were supposed to play, the three of us, my brother, him, and I, and he just decided to just go off on his own and beat it within a few days. I think he played most of the DLC, and he's ready for the next one. And I'm like, that's interesting. I mean, it's something that we used to play all the time, and now we're kind of like branching off into our own interests. Like,
Yeah. There's a new Baldur's Gate coming out.
it
this
is,
year also.
but I heard it was turn based.
Yeah, a lot. Well, the combat is turn based.
And that's something that my dad and I really wanted to get into, but I don't think he's going to be happy with playing that one.
Oh, really?
He's never gotten into the turn-based thing. I mean, neither am I. I haven't played too many turn-based games myself, so it's kind of still new to me. But,
Yeah.
you know, if he plays it, I'll play it. You know,
Nice.
because that's what we used to play, Dark Alliance on PS2.
That's what. Yeah, that was the probably my favorite Baldur's Gate.
All right. Yeah, it's Baldur's Gate definitely was, you know, where it's at back in the day, and with the third one, we'll see how it is.
Yeah, it's a different feel from Dark Alliance for sure, but it's more the traditional like role playing game.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to discuss with you is, you know, this whole thing is kind of about escapism and, you know, finding ways to, you know, hang out with people and escape from this current situation that we're in. And I know we didn't really discuss this beforehand, but one of the things you do is you like to stream on Twitch.
I do, mostly to be laughed at by my friends.
Which I have done.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. We used to stream a lot of our D&D sessions actually, but for some reason I don't think there was a particular reason we stopped. But I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to the people about starting to stream those again. But
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll try to stream our session on Monday. Actually, we have a session on Monday
Okay.
that I'll talk to the people about streaming. Um, yeah, I stream that. So I started streaming because my friend Jay wanted me to play the new Resident Evil 7 when it came out
Oh,
because it
yeah.
was like super scary game at the time, and I streamed the entire playthrough of that, and it was a lot of fun. It was super funny. I've got highlights that he made on YouTube that I'll send you
I want to
after
see
this.
that. I'm actually curious now.
Yeah, you'll enjoy them. I'll send it to you after this. And I also stream a game called Mordhau, which is basically like a medieval battlefield.
That's that chivalry,
And what's
right?
that?
That's that chivalry, the game.
Yeah, similar to it. It's called Mordhau. You basically just load up a character with like a weapon and go beat the crap out of each other on the battlefield. Um, and I bought this outfit on Amazon. It's like a little
The night
knight's
outfit.
outfit. Yeah, and
I can attest, it is a nice outfit.
yeah, and I usually wear that when I play Mordhau. Um, I work for the state now, so I guess I got to be careful about my online presence.
Why they hired a knight? That's the coolest thing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Go in to work with your little sword and mace and shield.
Nothing to see here.
I'm one of the
But yeah,
people.
right. But I stream occasionally. Like most recently, I've been streaming. I make all of my D&D maps on this software that I have, and I've been streaming those map creations lately. No particular reason, just people like to come hang out and watch. A few of my friends
Yeah,
want to get sneak peeks at the map that I'm gonna throw at them the next week or whatever.
the
But
challenges.
yeah, I also play Sea of Thieves, a pirate game. It's a lot of fun. I stream that occasionally. I haven't streamed in some time though, like an actual game. Maybe I'll do that soon.
I think I have notifications on. I haven't seen them recently.
Yeah, I'll I don't know. I'll try to stream our session on Monday though. I think that'll be fun.
All right.
That way you can, if you stop going through, you can see what it's about, get a feel for how weird it can get.
Do you wear the costume during this?
No
Oh.
costume. D&D. You'll get all the voices though. You get all the voices and all the voices of my friends that they use for their characters. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it sounds something to look forward to, especially now that I have all this free time now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
is there anything else you wanted to put out there? Stuff people can do during this time period that
Oh
you think
man.
people should be doing?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know what people do normally.
Well,
I guess do what you want to do. Like be safe. I don't know. I think it was funny. I saw this post somewhere that people were posting like a lot of the art that they've been creating they've been posting it online while they've been kind of stuck in their house. And somebody was like, "We're going to have a new freaking Renaissance era of people just stuck in their house making art for
that sounds cool though.
months." Yeah, it was a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah, I think.
But I don't know, make art. I guess.
Well, I think now is a really good time for people to just explore themselves more than anything else.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've been working from home. I just started a job at the end of February, almost a month ago now, and I've been working from home for about as long as I've been working at the job. So that's been interesting. I don't know. I guess if you have the time, play D&D. Like find a way to play D&D.
Or magic.
That's or Magic. Yeah,
Yeah,
you play Arena for free.
you'll honestly be surprised how many people would be interested in playing with you. If you if you're skeptical about who to play with, and you just put a Facebook post down and be like, hey, who wants to even try this? Just with people's free time now, they'll probably be like, what's the worst that can happen?
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Be like, hey, who wants to try D&D now that you can't do anything else with your life?
Yeah, no, I think now is a good time for people to just explore stuff they never thought about. I mean, I've been trying to get back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively, and they just put on
Yeah.
I told you that earlier, they put on a ban list a few hours ago, and there's no events until like May at least. So I don't know who it's for, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's still ways to you can play online on Dueling Book, which is the .com, which is the unofficial Yu-Gi-Oh simulator.
Hmm.
But there's definitely more ways now more than ever to explore some hobbies that you never thought you could be into.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, this is probably the best time to be quarantined. Is that inappropriate to say?
No,
But like,
no, it's like no, I know exactly. It sounds weird, but I know what you mean.
yeah,
There's more time. There's more ways to get into these things. Like if it was like back many years ago, like
maybe
many
not
years
even
ago,
many.
you'd
Like,
be able to be like,
even
hey,
maybe, yeah.
you
I mean,
want
even
to?
maybe 10 years ago, there probably wouldn't be nearly as many options as you have now to
I mean,
entertain
I don't
yourself.
think Twitch was even around then either.
No, not in any semblance of what
And
it is now.
YouTube only came out in the mid 2000s.
Yep.
Now, you can film yourself playing, put it up there, people watch it, stream yourself doing what like making maps or playing games, and people will watch it. I mean, it is
Yeah.
a good time to be quarantined. You are right.
Yeah. I
As
mean, people will be very surprised about interests what would interest them that they didn't know would interest them.
yeah,
I mentioned it with D&D, and that's always my prime example is Dungeons and Dragons. Like, if you haven't played it, if you're even kind of into this kind of thing, then you'll most likely fall in love with it. But no, I hope that people kind of figure out more about what they like to do, more ways to treat themselves. That'll be
I
good.
think the biggest stigma that people have is the whole stereotyping idea. Uh, and I will say, for one, I don't think Harrison that you would fit that stereotype of being a nerd at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if I saw you in the streets, I'd be like, that doesn't look like a nerd. Or whatever, like just sort of
right.
guy
I get
who's
it. I mean,
bald.
there's definitely a stigma. But it's interesting. Like, I played when I played Magic back in 2008. Like, I had the same thought you did. Like, I played with a guy who was like one of the top editors for the Discovery Channel. I
Oh,
played with a
really?
guy who was, yeah, he was like getting his PhD in like uh, something about vision or like your eyes or something. I don't know. But I played with like really interesting people, and well, yeah, stereotypes are bred from truth. Sure, there is a type of person that is, in, I guess, part of this culture, but you know there there's a lot of people who are part of this culture.
Yeah.
Joe Manchiello is like a huge D&D nerd. Vin Diesel is a huge D&D nerd. Um,
Cassius Marsh, the football player, plays Magic. I don't know if you knew that.
yeah, yeah, you'd be surprised at the people who are like really into this stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
and
and I
you shouldn't let your thoughts on what people would think, you know, sway sway you from trying something you've never done before.
right, no, for sure. You'd be very surprised at how much you enjoy some of the stuff.
Yeah, it's not for everybody,
Be
like we
it,
said, but
yeah,
it's worth a shot.
yeah, definitely. Be it Magic or D&D or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever hobbies you find yourself able to participate in, just give it a shot and see if you like it. If it's not for you, then at least, I mean, you've still gained the knowledge that it's not for you.
Yeah, and maybe you
Definitely.
had some fun, maybe you didn't. You never know.
Yep, for
But
sure.
I think we're about like an hour now in. Before we end, like I said, you are a Twitch streamer when you can.
Yeah,
What is your Twitch username so people can find you?
sure. It is casual_H. So CASUAL_H.
Yeah, Harrison
Um,
streams when he can, but maybe it'll be more of it. You think?
yeah, I mean, like you said, now's a better time than any, and I've we're in a cool place with our different D&D games, so I think it'd be really cool to stream it. Um, and then yeah, I'll try to get on more often.
All right. Well, First of all, thank you for spending this time with me today.
Hell yeah, dude.
I know I'm not your favorite person, but
Yeah, no.
but yeah. Everyone else, be safe. You know, try to stay healthy if you can. Like,
Yeah,
comment, subscribe to my channel, or like my videos, comment on them. If you want to see Harrison again, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. He's
yeah, me too. I'll see what I can do.
yeah, I mean, he's a cool guy. I love talking to Harrison, so I wouldn't mind doing it again. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. I'm trying to post more often now that schools are now pretty much all online now, so more time to do stuff like this that I actually want to do compared to some
Yeah,
schoolwork. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you got this far, congrats. It's not the easiest thing, but is there anything else you want to say, Harrison, before we end?
I don't think so. I'm surprised I had this much to talk about in the first place. To be honest with you.
Yeah, when I first reached out to Harrison, it was kind of like just Magic and D&D, but it's much more than just what you think it is. Especially people who haven't
Yeah,
played it. It's a lot to learn about, and that's the cool thing is that there's something just to learn and get better at.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you for listening and have a nice day.